Welcome to a new edition of TheWarOwl Reacts. Let's see what I said a week before the new Tec-9 changes. A lot of people think the weapon's cheap. I think it's pretty nice. I mean, in terms of all of the pistols being a little bit too powerful, I can understand that, but I wouldn't like single the Tec-9 out as being
TheWarOwl, my younger brother,
too powerful. Greetings, TheWarOwl greets you. This is just a quick video to go over the recent Tec-9 changes. You gotta know this stuff. Valve has taken on the responsibility of balancing the pistols in Counter-Strike Global Offensive, and instead of doing them all at once, they've decided to just start with the Tec-9. I guess as sort of a case study, and it has been drastically changed. So again, you gotta know this stuff. I was initially very optimistic and pleased when I saw that these changes were pushed to a public test build, so we could try them out, give feedback, and get used to them before they actually go into the game, which I'm sure a lot of competitive players did. So thank you for that. That's awesome. But I was a little bit surprised when those exact changes were then just pushed into the game, despite feedback and all the discussion that was going on. Just is what we got. Oh, they fixed the crouch jump thing too. Regardless of our opinions about the changes, we have to adapt to them the best that we can to give ourselves the best competitive edge. The accuracy of the Tec-9 has been drastically reduced, while the first shot accuracy has been increased. The ammo capacity has also been decreased from 24 to 18, but it still comes with 5 magazines. This means the new best strategy with the Tec-9 is to go for accurate one-tap headshots, similar to the Deagle, except you can't do this with a Deagle. That's right, just like with the USP, you can hit an accurate first shot while running. This is by design. It's worth noting that the Tec-9 is a one-hit headshot at close distances. How close, you may ask? To give you a good idea, when you peek A main on cache, the distance to a player standing in front of the forklift is a one-tap, but the distance to a player using the forklift as cover is right out of reach. The Tec-9 is now officially a more precise weapon than the AK-47, so if you want to be known for your one-taps, you might have to switch to using the Tec-9. That's a joke, don't do that. I would not classify this as a Tec-9 nerf. It's more of a revamp of its role. In fact, it's a far better weapon now in regards to first shot accuracy instead of spamming. The Tec-9 was a big part of the meta. Its strength came from its high damage output while moving and spraying, coupled with a massive magazine capacity. Certain rounds, terrorists would call a Tec-9 armor buy, a cheap way to get a possible win, and then use utility and positioning to close the distance gap, giving them the best chance of success. This role has been changed to emphasize more skill-based gameplay. In the developer's own words, the Tec-9 has been adjusted to emphasize aiming while retaining the weapon's high mobility. And now for my opinion. I'm glad Valve is focused on making the game more skill-based and less random. However, they did this by introducing more randomness in the recoil. There's a lot of skill involved in controlling reliable weapon recoil. Nevertheless, I think this is an improvement to gameplay and addresses the concerns people had with the Tec-9 in particular. I have a crazy theory with no merit as to why they might have made these changes in this way. Consider that Valve wants every weapon in the game to be viable, which pistol is not viable. The dualies. Oh yeah, and the revolver, let's see how they handle that. What if removing the close-range spray roll from the Tec-9 was in order to promote the dualies in a similar role? I think the real concern people have with the pistols in CSGO is that they are highly random and also do a lot of damage, so they promote less skill-based gameplay while also making it a little bit easier to win an eco round. The P250, a weapon that costs 300, is a one-hit headshot at close range against armor. The M4A4, a primary that costs 3100, is not. I don't think the pistols are completely broken, like a lot of people say, but I welcome any improvements. It's clear that Valve is now taking on this difficult task, so let's try and support them and provide good feedback, especially when they come out with those beta builds. As it is right now, the weapon is a one-trick pony, and while it does require more skill to execute, and Valve did accomplish their goal, I feel like it could have been balanced a little bit better. A game like Counter-Strike is a very fragile balancing act. If you push down on one value, the rest of them all start getting out of whack. It's like the ancient device at the end of Stargate SG-1 when they're trying to stop the replicators. In my humble opinion, it might have been a better idea to do a slight damage and armor penetration nerf across the board for all of the pistols at the same time. And then for the Tec-9, maybe we can drop that idea of it being a run and gun weapon, add a little bit more of that movement and accuracy to it so people aren't just running and spamming it, and get rid of that one tap thing that they added and kind of value the whole strafe shooting aspect of Counter-Strike, you know, having to stop your movement in order to get accurate shots. I think that would have been a little bit of a better idea. That is my opinion about it, though. However, do not touch the deagle. If you are not able to Juan Dig in this game, there will be riots. 1.6 players and source players living together. Mass hysteria. Thank you folks very much for watching. I am TheWarOwl, and I still have no closer.
I don't like when things change.